really is, and the guys are starting to get in line now. You see Mike Borkowski just slightly ahead of Tony Ave, but I think Tony's going to try and get the jump here and try and lead down into turn 1.
Well, they're bringing him slow. That yellow flag has been pulled away from him. The hammer comes back down, and it looks like Ave jumps right in, and Borkowski drops behind him.
Tony really got the jump there. I'm surprised they got the green flag, because Tony was clearly ahead and they're in single file, but they got the green flag, and Tony gets into turn 1 hard. Almost made a slight mistake there. You could see him really crossed up as he went through turn 1.
Ave, Borkowski, and then it looks like the rookie, Cunningham, in the number 63 car, sitting in the 3rd place spot. Are they going to sort themselves out a little bit here, or has Borkowski got something to come by with?
Borkowski really made up some ground there coming into the chicane. There's some oil dry there down on the track as they ran over that, but Tony seems to be just in front, but Mike's in close enough now to really have a go under braking into one of these corners.
That is about the hardest braking corner right there as they make that 90-degree right-hander off of the long straightaway, and Borkowski is on him.
He's on him now, and then they come out of this one down on the fast section, and he really needs to get close to Tony and make a run at him.
Tony Ave, the points leader. If you've been with us since the top of the show, he's had a heck of a season, and right now he's leading the last race of the year with Borkowski in the Red Heart 1 car, the only one able to stay with him.
I'm really surprised that Brian Cunningham has dropped back so far this early in the race. I mean, these guys were separated by just 0.2 of a second in qualifying this morning, and yet Tony and Mike have really made a good start and pulled a big gap over Brian there. He must be 2-3 seconds behind already.
They talk about the bumps on this racetrack, but that shot doesn't show a lot of bumps. Welcome back to Del Mar, California. Actually, the fairgrounds here at Del Mar, and this is the Oldsmobile Pro Race season finale, and we have got a ding-dong battle out in front of it. Tony Ave in the blue and yellow car being chased by number 33, Mike Borkowski in the bright red Heart 1 car. Now, these are 2 young lions. This is really what this sport's about.
Yeah, the Oldsmobile Pro Series is really a training ground for up-and-coming talent. It's certainly showing that here today. We've got Tony Ave and Mike Borkowski, 2 of the young chargers coming through.
Well, the 2 youngsters, certainly the class of the field today, Calvin, and the student Borkowski chasing hard after him.
He's certainly trying out the back of Jonathan's gearbox there, but then we see Tony Ave and Mike Borkowski again up front, and Mike is not letting him get away today. He really wants to put the pressure on and try and score another victory this season. He's only got 1 under his belt. Tony's really dominated this season, but Mike's really keen to make it stick today.
The 2 youngsters effectively going hard at it. Now, is Ave, with the championship in his back pocket, is he going to think about somewhere during the race letting Borkowski around, or is Borkowski going to have to earn this?
I think at this stage, I mean, this was great for Tony. You come into a street circuit, you're always very apprehensive finishing off a championship on a street circuit such as this, because anything can happen. There's no room for mistakes. He was very relieved to come away from Lime Rock with that championship in his pocket and really wanted to just put another win in the win column and put some icing on the cake of this season.
Well, he's thinking about a different line as he enters turn 1 there, and we say street circuit because it fits into a category that everybody who follows racing understands, but there aren't really any city streets here. We're using parking lots and access roads on the fairgrounds all around the horse track, and an enormous fairgrounds here with a great show going on.
That's right. I mean, it's a nice facility here, very great, nice for all the guys and the transporters and stuff, but the track itself does have a few rough spots, but all in all, you can see Mike there really close now under braking. Tony's really got to be driving a little bit defensively at this stage, because Mike's going to be looking for a pass any moment.
Well, they're going to get to a real narrow section of the racetrack in a moment, and if you're going to make a move in, we get a little wide in the corner as those Yokohamas are searching for traction.
They really are. Tony got a little bit loose coming off that turn, and Mike is looking smooth at this stage. He's got his head down and pushing hard, but not making any mistakes. You don't see him blocking brakes up or anything. He's just really looking for a way through Tony Ave.
Well, it's an exciting race, and we're going to be following all the way to the checkered flag. Come back and join us in Del Mar, California after this short break. Welcome back to Del Mar, California. It's the Oldsmobile Pro Series season finale, and this is a battle for the lead. Borkowski tried to get around Ave. The number 33 car's in a better position as they get to turn 1, and there is a swap at the front.
Nice move by Mike there. He got the inside line going through the curve onto the front straightaway. Tony fought him hard, but then Mike really made a clean move under braking. There was nothing Tony could do. He really had to let him go and try and make another move later in this race.
He's been all over him for a while. Is Ave going to be able to go to school on him now and figure out where his weak points may be?
Well, maybe so. I mean, as Tony has expressed this morning, he's still not totally at ease with this track, and he may be learning a little bit different line from Mike at this stage.
Now we're going to take a look at the pass once again. So Calvin, you take a look at it and tell me what they did right.
Now under braking for turn one, and Tony took the wide line. Mike just snuck right underneath him, held him out there to the outside. Nothing Tony could do at that stage. He had to give up the corner, and a good move by Mike Borkowski for the lead.
So it is Borkowski in the Heart 1, number 33 car with the lead, and pulls out a good car length and a half, but it doesn't look like he's shaking Tony Ave off of his tail. Whoa, somebody got a little in trouble. Ave.
Tony's really pushing hard there. Obviously trying to get on the gas a little bit sooner so that he could maybe get the slipstream down this fast section here, and made it a little bit too early and got the car loose over the bump there. And in that one instant, you see Mike Borkowski has pulled out probably half a second.
Having problems keeping up with the action. The action up front, 33, Borkowski, the leader, number 3, Ave, chasing him hard.
They obviously just passed the back marker, and that may have slowed Mike Borkowski slightly and allowed Tony Ave to close back in. So that could have been the reason, I'm unsure, but certainly this race isn't over by far, and Mike Borkowski is now under pressure from Tony Ave once again.
Mike Borkowski, the sophomore at Cornell, isn't your normal race car driver type of profile, but the youngster going quite well as they go around the number.
Whether he lost a position or not, we're now back up front, and Tony Ave starting to put the pressure back on Mike Borkowski.
Yeah, they got around that slower car, but Borkowski hasn't been able to pull back out the distance that he had at one point. The front two cars in the season finale from Del Mar Motor Natchez, and Ave thought about it for a moment there.
I think that was just a fake, really. He really wasn't close enough to make a move on Mike, but he's obviously wanting to fill his mirrors and try and rattle up Mike a little bit. Tony's shown the expertise and the calmness to actually win races this year. Mike is actually maturing as the season goes on, and it'll be interesting to see how he deals with the pressure that Tony's putting on him.
The battle for the lead coming right by you. That's a pretty shot there. The red one out in front of it, Borkowski. The blue and yellow one, Ave, who has already wrapped up the season championship. The corner workers moving the number 4 Zarcades out of the way through that little section. This battle continues. In fact, I think it's getting better.
It really is starting to heat up right now. Tony's really on the charge. He's obviously maybe made a few adjustments inside the cockpit. These guys can adjust brake bias, the roll bars inside the car. And as we said earlier, maybe Mike had a slightly better line through a couple of the turns. I know Tony wasn't totally at home with this circuit after this morning session. He still felt there was more to come, and maybe he's learned something following Mike, and he certainly seems to be a bit quicker right now.
One thing I'm impressed with is they come right up on traffic. That's the number 14 car, James McChunkin, who moves over very alertly and says, no, you guys go to it. It's the life expectancy of these Oldsmobile motors. We haven't had one let go, and we've been watching them all weekend long.
That's right. I mean, some of these guys run their engines, believe it or not, without a rebuild for the whole racing season, and that's just a testament to the technology that Oldsmobile has put into this quad-4 engine, and it really is a remarkable power plant. Jim Miller can make a big move in the championship today with a good result. And we look at the front of the pack once again. We see Mike Borkowski coming into the turn 1. I believe it's their last lap. We have Tony Ave. He's not really close enough. I think it's going to take a mistake by Mike Borkowski or some traffic for Tony to make a move back in front.
Well, the sophomore from Cornell leading the professionals snowmobile racer in the second place spot as they come through a tight section there. Now this place opens up and you can use the horsepower.
You really can. It's quite a neat track actually for a street circuit. A lot of fast sections and then some really tight chicanes, and you see Tony there really trying hard under braking, getting a little bit squirrely under braking. But I just think the gap is too big at this stage of the race.
It'll be an important item if Borkowski can win this final go. We talked about that at the top of the show. The 19-year-old from Cornell would flat turn some heads with a win here at the season ender.
And Tony himself really wanted to go off to England next week, start testing for the Formula Ford Festival with another win under his belt, and it's certainly going to be tough for him to do so now.
Yeah, but the championship is going to salve his wound just a little bit, don't you think?
Certainly will. I mean, he won the battle this season, and that's what it's all about.
They're just 100 yards or so from the checkered flag in the season finale, and a happy Mike Borkowski has his arm up well before the checkered flag comes out, and Borkowski wins it, gets back under control of the car for turn 1. And there is Mike Borkowski making his way to victory circle. We'll be joining him there in a moment.
Well, the car was running really good today. I'd like to thank Falcon Racing, Shannon Race Cars, Bertles Race Engines. The engine was really powerful. We actually lost first gear on about the 10th lap, which is very important at the street tracks, and the Bertles engine just works so well. I was coming out of all the corners in second gear. It didn't even make a difference.